YouTube channel, myself and Chris Sledgehammer Gavigan. So head over there if you want to interact with us. Otherwise, I'm just going to put TikTok camera over to the side here, and you can listen in and do whatever you want to do, or don't listen in. But I'd like if you did. And what's crack, Elena? Are you well?
We're live on YouTube
live
as well.
On YouTube, right? I'm going to put this down, and like I said, if you want to interact, head over to the Dead Hedgehogs YouTube channel and leave us a comment. Otherwise, watch there on the old TikTok. Cheers. Right, guys, what is the crack? Welcome to another Dead Hedgehogs YouTube live stream. I am in the Dead Hedgehogs headquarters with myself. I'm with myself.
It's good to be with yourself.
And Chris the Sledgehammer Gavigan.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be that close.
Do I not have to be that close?
No.
Oh, that's nice. Are you sure?
100%.
That'll do. Let us know if the sound is good. I'm always worried that the sound isn't good. So if there's anyone in the chat, let us know if the sound is good. We're going to be talking about all sorts, all kinds of everything, as Danish Galleons once said.
Mairead Evans says, how are you lads?
Mairead,
tell us if the sound is okay for you.
If the sound is good.
That's what we want to know.
We left it a little bit later than usual tonight because we're figuring that people might be finished with their day. Chilled, lying in bed, hands above the sheets.
Hopefully.
I don't want anyone jerking off to my face, whatever about Chris's.
You can jerk off to mine if you want.
I can.
You can, yeah.
So, we're going to talk about everything. My day was good. I was running around like a busy fool. I seem to be doing that an awful lot lately. Time is just drifting away. I could do it 48 hours in the day. I know a lot of people could, but I definitely could. Trying to fit runs in, trying to fit doing stuff with the...
Is that good for your head?
The runs are good for my head.
Trying to fit everything in.
No, it's not. I need to find a way to decompartmentalize everything and put everything in its own box. You see, there's so much things that I have to get around to. I try and get back to everyone on the pages. I shouldn't do that. I'm trying my best, and I know I don't get to do it all the time. But plus as well, I have the kids to look after, and they're getting to the stage in life where there's always something up and one.
Yeah, they're good at that. They like to make
that.
you busy. Like.
Yeah, they're good like that.
They're good crack, though.
But I wouldn't have them any other way, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I want to talk about tonight, well, I want to talk about anything and everything. If there's anything that anyone wants to talk about, leave a message on the video. And obviously, this is live, but when it's pre-recorded, don't be afraid to leave a comment on there as well.
Yeah.
So we had Michelle Smith on last week. Was it Wednesday, Thursday?
Deadly. Yeah, it was. Just to let you know, guys, we've got some new merch as well.
Oh, we did. We did.
I've added it to the stream. I'll put a link if you want to open an extra tab. If you're on your laptop or whatever, jump on a different tab. If not, go back to it later on if you want. You know, there's some cool t-shirts and bits.
There is some. How are things, Liam? Are you well? Diane, are you well? Dilbert, what is the crack? And Mairead Evans, sound is good. Thanks very much, Mairead. So yeah, we had Michelle Smith on the last day. I thought she spoke very well.
Yeah. Interesting enough.
Interesting enough. I know that she got a lot of heat on some of the posts because obviously I'm pushing this YouTube channel on Facebook, on Instagram whenever I can, and I put up a picture of us in the studio, and there was an attack on Michelle, and I didn't think a lot of it was justified. In fairness, she responded to it the best way she could as well, and we got into a bit of slack for having a candidate on. The platform is there for absolutely anyone that's willing to come on or wants to come on. If someone wants to come on and has a story for us, they're more than welcome. So they are, and I wish Michelle the best of luck on Friday. She's up against some seasoned opponents. and she's up against some other good.
But like, if
candidates,
Simon
so-
Simon Harris was in Swinford during the weekend,
was.
if he was willing to come on the podcast or whatever,
I would have had Simon Harris
yeah,
on,
we'd have a chat
and I
with
wouldn't
him.
have bet him up either.
No, like, well, you wouldn't be violent. Anyway.
No, I wouldn't be violent anyway.
No,
And I would have let him have his ice cream.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he was here.
But and as much as I give out about Simon Harris and I give out about them all, I use anti-government rants as comedy. Some of it is a message as well included. I do believe that they're not fit for purpose. But
100%. And
I'm not going to lose my
but
shit.
I think it's the whole system's corrupted. The whole
Yeah.
thing is like they get in. The only thing that they start working towards is trying to get in again, retaining the seat and stuff like that. So there's.
I just think they lack, like I've said this before, they lack compassion and they lack the touch. They're not in touch with the common person. I hate using that word, common person.
Yeah, the man on the street.
The man on the street. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, well, when there's investors involved and very wealthy people, that money can be a corruptive force.
Yeah. You
know?
And I'm sure the temptation is there, but again, when you go from national school, when you go from the Leaving Cert straight into politics,
there's
a disconnect there straight away. You haven't lived a real life.
Well, real life experience,
real life experience, and work. But anyway, Dilbert says, I'd love to know what ye guys think of the right wing election candidates and absolute shite they are spinning. Example, James Conway in Sligo. I've heard of James Conway. I haven't seen one thing that he's done.
I've seen a load of videos that he's done. Yeah,
is he right wing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, but the thing
in
is,
saying that, I've been accused of being right wing. Certainly not right wing. I have my ideas and I have my thoughts on a lot of things, and I make fun of a lot of left wing stuff.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, there's a lot of
I'm certainly not
soft
right-wing.
old shite. I would be left leaning in my politics, but in reality, I just don't.
I would be right of centre.
Yeah, I'd be more left of centre, because I think that being left of centre means that you put more money into public services like the health service, whereas it doesn't become a for-profit entity or public transport and stuff like that. Like the NHS in England was lauded as one of the great socialist institutions that ever came. So as a point of entry, you were entitled to NHS. This was dreamt up and put into action in the 50s. No matter what your background, you could go into the hospital and you'd be looked after. That should be the point. That should be
that in general is the way it is here.
In Ireland, it's not. If you don't have private health insurance,
I beg to differ on that. I've had a lot, as you know. I've been between the heart and the brain.
If it's an emergency,
never ever had to wait, but that's not even just even checkups and everything like that. I do understand that there's waiting, and I've given out about the waiting times.
Well, it's a two-tier system in Ireland.
Yeah, I don't know, but then again, I've heard from private people that have private insurance that it really makes no difference.
Yeah,
if
so
there's a waiting list, you're on a waiting list.
I was talking to a fella who's related to one of the top doctors in the country at the weekend. We were discussing this, the way that it's all set up, and he was saying that he had a fascinating conversation with this fella that was his uncle, right? And he was saying how basically this fella is one of the top doctors in the country, but he works privately with a clinic of a couple hours a week, so that he gives back to the public health service. But then what he does with his clinic is basically shuffle them all around to come into him private, so he could actually give them proper care, and kind of wrangle it around. So he's constantly trying to build on the private platform that he has, and he's always chock-a-block out. He thinks that the whole system is completely corrupted by the insurance company making a mint. That's why the two-tier system is there, is that insurance companies can actually make a lot of money. Whereas the NHS didn't done away for a long time with private healthcare, private insurance. What we've got is like half the American system, half the NHS. So if you've got an emergency, you need to go to the hospital. You're not like you're in America where you're like, where am I going? How much is it going to cost me? You just go to the hospital, right? And you'll get taken care of. But if you've got an underlying illness and you were relying on the public service, and it could really impact your life, but it's not seen as something that could be fatal in the next 6 weeks. You might be put off for a year, and it might be causing you an immense amount of distress, and that's not good enough.
Oh, I completely understand that, and I'm sure there's a lot of situations like that. I'm speaking from personal experience,
100%,
and not just the life-threatening things that I've had. I've had other things like I was trying to get a penis reduction there.
Oh, that's nice.
No, that's a joke.
I just thought that would be easier as a small little knob.
In the past, I've had I broke my nose 3 times.
You wouldn't think it.
You wouldn't think it, no. Yeah, they do say people with large noses have large other appendages. Just want to put it out there. Obviously, I've had scrapes, but every time I've gone in, Lara says you picked the right days. Maybe I did. Maybe I got lucky all my life, but I have to say, and any experience I've had, like I have 5 kids. They've all streamlined pretty well. A couple of hitches here and there, but yeah. So, and in saying that, I've spoke to a lot of people that have used the labour facilities in Ireland, as we all have to fucking do at some stage, and all been through, and they said from both the public and the private, and they said that in the labour ward it makes absolutely no difference.
Yeah.
And kind of technically,
which it should be the point.
Yeah, it should be the way.
That should be the point. You know?
Yeah.
Like getting extra care because you pay for it.
There was a couple of things that I could have, I would have liked to change, or nearly could have been disasters when the kids were born. But anyway, they weren't. James Curley says, "Hi lads, how are you keeping? What do you think of the new bridge going to be built between the Republic and the North, also being funded by the Republic taxpayer?" First I've heard of it, James.
The Chucky Law Bridge.
Don't blow me up bridge.
I'll look that up.
Why would you want a bridge between Ireland and Northern Ireland?
New bridge. Like,
why would you need a bridge between Northern Ireland and Ireland?
I don't know where. No bridge. New bridge. Ireland.
Okay, that's a new one. Is that a trick question?
I don't understand.
It sounds like a trick question.
Yeah.
Like, why would you need a bridge?
All that came up was Newbridge, County Kildare. So
I think you're trying to trick us.
Maybe.
Anyways, so yeah, that's my experience with the public health. But I do understand that there is, and I mean, one of the elephant in the room is the Children's Hospital in Dublin. It's just turned into a farce.
Well, like the whole thing was farcical when you see location and like
paper envelope jobs. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous that it's taken this long and twice over the budget. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh,
I was talking.
The fact that it's going to be the most expensive hospital in the world.
No surprise, of course, because in Ireland they just cannot do it. Whatever the fuck is it? The red tape. Just cannot do it efficiently. If that was a German company, or in Germany, or in Japan, it'd be done. 3 years ago under budget.
Well, like even the fact that the original budget for
always a bit of huckstering going on.
Well, the original budget for the hospital was 450 million. Now it's over
2.2.
Yeah, I think
2.2 billion.
And it'll probably be closer to 3 when it's complete.
Yeah, and also I was told that there's there's people going in sabotaging the work that's going on in there just to drag it out.
Oh, don't you know what?
So it's absolutely ridiculous. But like that as well, who was it that said if the Irish government were in charge of this sand in Sahara, there'd be no fucking Sahara Desert. in 5 years' time.
Okay, I'll. So this is the it is on RTE. I will.
Taoiseach said that the narrow bridge linking Northern Ireland in the Republic can be built on time within budget. I'll believe that when I see it. I don't think there's anything ever been built in Ireland on time and on budget or within budget. And who said that? Micheál Martin.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. If Micheál Martin said it was dark outside, I'd have to run out and check.
The project was inspired by cross-border communities in the Omeath area of Louth and Narrow in County Down, who have wanted a bridge built for years. When complete, a 195-metre cable-stayed bridge will provide a direct link between the Mourne Mountains and the Cooley Peninsula.
Lovely.
Where Carlingford Loch.
Actually, Cooley is beautiful.
Yeah, and in fairness,
and
that
it's
will
like Carlingford Loch area.
That trek from Dundalk to Carlingford is a bit of a trek. It's never been probably properly serviced.
From Dundalk to Carlingford.
Yeah, if the way that you have to go around, there's a ferry, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
But this bridge idea is probably
fair enough
around that area.
Is that a round tower there?
Looks like it.
With a cap.
They're starting in Meelick. Out the road there.
No. I thought there's very few round towers in Ireland with roofs on it. Some of them were never completed, and some of them were hit by lightning. Others were ransacked, obviously. Wow. The first I heard of it, but I'm very surprised that it's all reliant on the Republic are paying for it totally. But then again, in a few years' time,
we're going to be doing that anyway.
They're going to be doing it anyway, because I do believe that it's going to be United Ireland in 10 years' time. So maybe they've foreseen that we'll be paying for our own bridge. Anyways, the European elections, it's a tough one. Do they really make a difference?
Yeah. Of course. We live in a representative democracy. We probably... it does make a difference in do you believe it does?
I'd like to think
at the end of the day,
I think Europe has done so much, but we've also done a lot for Europe, and I know we talked about it more in the last podcast with Michelle. For anyone that hasn't seen it, go check it out and let us know what you think of it yourself. I just think we're a small country, and I know we've a lot of people, very good and very talented people and very influential people coming out of Ireland, but I just don't think we're big enough to cause a stir in Europe anymore.
I think we're a bigger voice in Europe than ever before.
I'd like to think so.
Why?
And hopefully.
And I tell you why. With the UK gone out of Europe, I think a lot of major corporations moved over to Ireland and headquartered here. And that gave us more credibility. I think that being one of the few predominantly English-speaking countries in Europe, or other countries speak English. Obviously, like Sweden or
they're
Norway,
all very good. They all have a good grasp on English compared to us. When you go to some countries, they speak English as good as their own languages.
Yeah,
it's crazy. We don't do it enough. It's not pushed enough in Ireland to speak other languages. The local ones, they just look after potholes and shit like that. Not shit like that. I'm not being derogatory against the local elections. That has to be done as well.
I think a functioning.
Does a strong
local election
party representation around the country of majority of one party to another, does that lend itself to a general election? Do you understand what I'm saying? Say if the majority of local candidates are local people, local councillors are Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael or Sinn Féin or whatever, hopefully the Greens will be obliterated.
But again, the Greens only have their power from being a minority broker.
Oh yeah.
The Fine Gael are the power in that government.
Yeah. Well,
along with Fianna Fáil. Yeah. Now, Fine Gael, the Greens are almost overrepresented in government for the amount of seats they have and the amount of power they have.
That's because
they prop it up.
That's because Eamon Ryan is there and he's propping up the government, and he has the power. He's been given the power by default.
Yeah. So the way that we look, like, in a way, if Sinn Féin had a really strong, and the Independents had really strong European and local elections, then they go, well, we actually have a mandate for power. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be in Fine Gael's interest to give them that opportunity then, though. Fine Gael are more likely to have a really strong local and European election, and then on the back of that try and have a general election where they consolidate their power.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's going to be an awful lot of independents getting in locally and in the next general election as well. I think that I don't know how many independents are going for the European elections.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot.
Luke McFannigan, he's independent.
Independent, yeah.
He's definitely going to get in.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll move on to Simon Harris's visit to Mayo on Sunday. And he visited Swinford. I missed it, unfortunately. I was trying to get back and have the crack with him.
I bet he would have been delighted to see you.
To get back.
Would he have been happy to see you?
I highly doubt it.
Well, he was hosted in Swinford by in the pub that we use by far the most.
We do. My favourite pub in the entire world, Mellett's.
Yeah.
And shout out to Marie and Joe and all the crew. But remember, Joe was a Fine Gael councillor
for years. Yeah, he was the Cairn
of Mayo. Yeah, so a big Fine Gael representation there. But we won't hold that against them.
No. Oh, look, the thing is, good representative democracy. You can, like, we should be in a world where we could have different points of view, and it wouldn't independent. We can think independently of each other without, like the amount of people that fell out over politics over the last 10 years especially. Yeah, it's a much more divisive type of world now. Years ago, if you're a Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil or Sinn Féin or whatever, it wouldn't matter the fuck.
Yeah, unless you were going way back further again, and then there was a big civil war politics as well. But that's going back. I mean, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want a better Ireland. Well,
let's just circle around to the before we go into Simon Harris's thing, like the Michelle Burke thing. So we had a conversation with a candidate that's not too far from here, who was in contact with you when.
Who's Michelle Burke?
Michelle Smith.
Is Michelle Burke on your mind?
No, it's not Michelle Burke on my mind. I don't know why Michelle Burke came to. But Enoch Burke is on my mind, though. Okay. He's always on my mind.
Yeah.
But
is that the way you've turned now? Is it?
No.
Is that because it's Pride Month? Is it?
I just think that he'd be having a very good Pride Month in Kilmainham. I think he'll have a lovely time there.
Is that where he is, Kilmainham?
Yeah, he's going to be hung, drawn, and quartered. Yeah. So, but we had an MEP candidate on. She's looking for a little bit, like, she didn't get on to the national debate.
You know what? And we never talked about that.
Yeah,
we never. And actually, I have to say something. You were very good in that podcast. I was all up for it, and I happened to put on the live for the TikTok, which means my phone was on, and above any time, it was hopping.
It almost jumped off the table
constantly, and there was 4 or 5 missed calls from the same numbers, and I thought, fuck me, what's wrong? These people know that I'm doing a live podcast and they're still ringing, and I was sure that there was something wrong. It turns out there was nothing, absolutely nothing wrong. It could have waited. But when you see 5 or 6 phone calls coming in from the same numbers, you're like, oh, what? So I was completely distracted.
I could see your eyes going, oh God, how do you deal with that? And then you go, do I just take it outside and go, what's going on? Is this something
that would have been so bad. It would have been so unmannerly to get a guest in and next thing go outside and take a phone call. But it reminds me of the time that when I was working in Aldi once, I checked my phone. You weren't meant to have your phone on you in Aldi, but I was in with the managers, and
I bet you were.
And I had the phone on me, and I just happened to check it.
How did you get in with the managers?
That's for another time. And I just happened to have the phone on me, and I looked down at it. I had 17 missed calls from my mother. 17 missed calls, and I was like, "Holy shit!
Something's
who's
happened."
dead?
Yeah.
Who's dead? Who's hurt? What's happened?" So I said to one of the managers, I said, "Listen," I said, "I'm just after checking my phone. There's 17 missed calls from my mother." I said, "Obviously, there's something wrong."
Yeah.
So I said, I'm just gonna take a minute out here, and I'm gonna ring and see what the story is. They said, absolutely
no bother.
Of course. So I went into the canteen, rang my mother. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Oh, nothing. I was just telling you to make sure that you don't forget 2 liters of milk on your way home."
Wow.
And I nearly,
Yeah.
if I could have fucking put my hand through the phone, I would have. I said, "Are you joking me? Are you fucking joking me?"
Oh, and the packet of ham.
And I said, yeah. I said, "Is that it?" She said, "Yeah, get a packet of ham." No.
Love it.
I just said, "Are you joking me?" And I just hung up, and that was it.
But in fairness, you were working in Aldi, and it's easy to forget those type of things.
She could have just fucking texted. Anyways, that's distracting me now. Where was I? Oh yeah, the podcast.
Yeah. So like, look, we had a chat. Look, we were trying to find out where she sits on some of these, where she sits on, you know, what agenda she's going to go after, what's kind of important to her, and all these things. And like, if I was perfectly honest, I think there's some of the talking points. She's a bit on the fence. Mm-hmm. She's just a little bit political speak where she didn't take one side or another. You know, she hasn't. It's not like she's campaigning on a platform of restricting immigration or anything like that. Or, you know, she's very much on kind of going after Ming on some of these. Like, her, instead of calling them fishermen or fisherwomen, he called them fishers. Like,
did he fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, that's what she said. I haven't seen seen a video where he wouldn't call them fishermen. Now. But like, if that's all you're going after Ming on, that's just a silly cultural fucking bullshit thing.
To be honest, I don't think that going after Ming is the thing. I think if she's going to get in, she has to take someone else.
Yeah, well, she has no. I think she has no chance of being Ming.
Yeah. Well, Ming. I think Ming.
I think he'll be way out in front anyway. And the bookies think that he's going to be way out in front. The way
but there's 5 seats, so you never know. Best luck to her anyway on Friday. Like I said,
the response to it,
the response was completely like, it was nasty. Some of it,
yeah.
You know, there was a couple of nasty messages in it, and like I said, the platform is there for absolutely anyone. Michelle was willing to come down, and we were happy to have her here, and she was absolutely. I thought she was very well spoken on the.
Well, one thing we want to do is we want we want to challenge ourselves with opinions that mightn't be the same as ourselves, and be open to having those conversations, which is massively lacking. There's loads of podcasts that people go on to. Morris has a completely different opinion on the way the world works to me. Mm-hmm. And we have different ways of looking at certain things, right?
But it's a good, healthy debate.
But like, yeah, that's the whole point. You go in, you have a conversation, you try and find some common ground, you be respectful, you know, all these little bits and pieces. Like, there's if you look at a lot of the TV debates, they're fucking worthless because you actually get no information. Little sound bites here and there. Mm-hmm. They all dump on Peter Casey because he's a bit of a fool, and they're done in half an hour. There's 9 of them on the stage.
Could you repeat the same interview over and over?
Yeah, there's 27 candidates in this election. They couldn't have them all on the one stage. I can understand. So they boiled it down to having 9 candidates on the stage at one time. I can understand why Michelle Smith would be annoyed at that. Rory Hearn was really annoyed at that because they're polling. He's polling particularly well, and he's with the Social Democrats. So he's like, well, why are Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and Sinn Féin being represented? We've got a significant political party, and I'm not allowed to go on the stage.
Yeah. There's a bit of frustration there, but again, that's when a semi-state body is in charge of choosing who they have on it, you're always going to get that.
Yeah.
So it's nepotism, kind of.
But like at the same time, there's a practicality part of it that all of them couldn't be on the stage at the same time anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll go through some of these. Yeah, so Lee Murphy said, "What's the world coming to when you can't have ice cream Westport these days?"
Yeah, I want to get onto that.
We'll get onto that. Yeah,
because that was what I was looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
On this, Simon Harris came to Mayo, came to Swinford. Everything I think went smoothly. Actually, the Burkes were in Swinford waiting for him.
They were on top of Mellets. They were going to parachute down into the smoking area.
But it was access denied in Swinford to them.
I can well imagine.
Yeah. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
They were. They tried to get in to...
they wouldn't be well liked in Swinford anyway. They accosted, what's his name, O'Connor, as well. Pat O'Connor.
Oh, fuck.
Because he was the county coroner and... They were leading protests against Pat O'Connor back during the old pandemic, yeah.
Why?
Because he's the county coroner, so he was signing off the deaths of people and stuff, or he'd have a legal sign off, you know.
Well, what was he meant to do?
I don't know.
Okay. I know that he got
not
into
a doctor,
trouble.
like.
I know that he got into trouble over one of them. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but so they got stopped. Where did they get stopped in Swinford? What? Tell us. Into Mellets.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Barred from it for not the first to be barred from entering Mellets. Now
I got barred out of there myself once, and that was my favorite pub in the entire world. But yeah, it went smoothly in Swinford. Took a few pictures and everything like that. He was over giving support to Fine Gael councillor and
he did look like a woman in one of the photos.
He did.
He had rosy eyes.
It looked like he had lipstick on.
Yeah.
Like he was really embracing pride. And I do know that he's a heterosexual. Well, I presume he's heterosexual. Not that I've anything against the gays, right? It's just I do find it funny. The whole thing. I just find it funny. But no, some of my best friends are gay.
I was going to say, who the fuck are you talking about?
But anyway, no.
I can't believe you outed Pete like that.
But then he went over to Castle Bar. I think he got accosted there, but then he really got accosted in Westport.
Do you know what? It was watching him run up the street and the fella beside him had ice cream on his shoulder, and he kept on going, "Michael Ring number 1."
Did he?
Yeah. Simon Harris was like shouting for
ridiculous.
Michael Ring. Michael Ring's a mighty minister. He's a great TD. And
he left Helen McEntee for dushed.
Yeah, but she's the Minister for Defence. She'd be able to look after herself.
She would, yeah.
Calling an airstrike from Knock or something, you know.
But a lot of people are saying he should have stood and answered the questions.
No,
a lot of people did.
One thing I don't think is he shouldn't stand there. He's the leader of the country. He shouldn't stand there to be shouted at by a gang of thugs off the street.
Would you consider them thugs?
100%. He is in prison for defying a court order. That is the only reason. He might not like it. Legally, that's why he's in prison. He might be...
He's in prison, though, for sticking up for his beliefs.
But he shouldn't... He can stick up for his beliefs, right? But when the court tells you to stay away from a premises, whether it's a school or a house or whatever, you will go to prison if you don't. If you don't have that law in place... If someone say if I want to keep you away from me for harassing me, and you keep turning up to my place of work, that law is in shreds. He has to go to prison if he keeps defying that law.
Why is he still in prison?
Because he won't.
People have done manslaughter terms for less time.
I don't know. He's been just over a year, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Look, at the end of the day, he's defined a court order. He probably has to sign a waiver that he won't go back to the school if he gets out.
Right.
And he won't sign it.
Okay. So he's in there, but can they keep him in there indefinitely?
I don't know. We're paying for him.
And furthermore, it was like the Newport 4 or the Newport 5. They were kept in until they signed something.
Yeah. So the Westport or the
Newport.
Rossport.
Sorry.
Rossport. Yeah. So now I'd say that is totally different because that's the state being on the side of a private corporation.
Yeah.
He has his own beliefs. He went into a school.
That's why I haven't really done. I've made a couple of jibes here and there. I've never really done a video that people would expect me to do on Enoch Burke because it's a catch-22 for me. I believe he was right. I believe he was right in the pronouns thing, right?
Yeah.
But I do believe that he went a little too far.
Like his
in
religious
front of,
belief,
in front of schools and stuff like that.
His religious beliefs shouldn't come into the classroom at all, in my opinion. If he's imparting a religious belief onto a classroom and he's saying,
now I made up my mind on that when I didn't realize that there were like a different religion and they're very strict, a weird sort of cultish nearly.
But like they've been causing trouble for years before he got put in prison for this. Yeah. This is nothing new to them. They're from Castlebar.
They have a lot of support though.
No, they have support. They have support from people that think that this is because he's in prison because of what he said. He's not in prison for what he said. He's in prison for defying a court order to stay away from the place of work that he was employed at. He kept on turning up. He keeps on turning up. Then he's defying a court order. Yeah. He should go to prison.
I do know if I've had court orders before for different things that I got myself involved in, and I knew that was like if I defied them, that was worse. That it would have been worse than the actual reason I was there in the first place. If that makes sense.
You know, like he's trying to turn himself into a political prisoner.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say that. Is he turning himself into a political martyr?
100%. Yeah. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
He wants it to be that
they're an intelligent family, apart from being
very well educated.
Yeah.
But they're not educated on like me or you.
His sister was willing to lose her bar.
Yeah.
You know, for this.
But like they're well educated. They go to university, but as you said, it's a cultish mentality within the family.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and they're starting to create a little bit of a cult
amongst them. Of course they are, because they're saying that it's political will. It's politically motivated, when it's not politically motivated. He was court mandated not to go to the school.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the end of the day as well, I find it admirable that they're going about it a little bit in a roundabout way, but I admire people that stick up for their beliefs.
But like the Westboro Baptist Church in America, hardline religious fanatics. They used to protest dead soldiers' funerals and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know that's completely wrong.
Crazy stuff, and this is an Irish version of that.
Yeah,
super religious and kind of fanatical religious, and he has every right to go into a school and teach. I'm not saying that, but I don't believe that religion should be taught in the classroom like that. And if you have that staunch political beliefs, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. If he didn't want to call it, I do believe that initially he was right, but I think that he lost the high moral ground. I'll put it to you that way. But every so often, when Enoch Burke is in the news, I put up a little poll on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever, and was he right? Was he wrong? Were the Burkes
but like people
right to accost Simon Harrison or whatever? And I would say 80%.
Yeah.
80% of
I think people.
Maybe that says a lot about my followers.
But I'd say
that says a lot about me.
I'd say a lot of people misunderstand why he's in prison. Most people think he's in prison because he won't call a kid she, them, or he, her, whatever the fuck pronouns that he wouldn't call them.
Yeah.
And that's not what he's in prison for.
Yeah.
He's in prison for
I know that.
one
I know
thing.
that. But in their head, he's in prison because for the reason.
Which is taking. Yeah, the reason he's in.
I'm going to have to come off TikTok live because my battery's at 4%. I'm as well just 2.
See you later, TikTokers.
See you later, TikTok. Thanks for tuning in.
Look, get in the chat, guys. Tell us what you think yourselves. There's
a lot of messages there that
if they're saying I'm wrong, like,
oh, no,
that's fine.
Know
yeah.
What I don't know what I couldn't read. You can't read the messages that far away on TikTok. But go through some of the messages there.
No bother. Sure.
Thanks, Jack.
There's a few back here.
There's a lot.
We'll go through some. We'll keep on going. I think he made a bollocks. So Dilbert says, "Oh, we'll go back here. Okay.
Go back further.
Jeez, we're way off. Cheers for the comments, guys. Hi lads, how are you keeping? What do you think of that? Yeah, we've gone through that. What's the world coming to when you ice cream?
We left it, yeah.
And sure, Joe Biden loves Ireland.
He does.
He doesn't love it as much as Israel.
Let's put it
that. His real spiritual home.
They're thinking about taking down the mural in Ballina.
They're going. I don't blame.
Yeah.
I would actually flatten his historical home.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'd flatten it to the ground.
Ballina.
Yeah. Sorry, Ballina, you gotta go.
No, it was just meant to be the mural. It's a good job we're not in charge of the fucking demolition.
And I'm going for it as a local independent. Joe, I'd get a lot of votes in Mayo if that was
Ballina?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
Clamars,
I like Ballina.
Swinford,
No, I like
Westport.
Ballina.
I think they'd all vote for me.
Yeah, I like Ballina.
I think he made a bollocks when he decided to run away from Enoch Burke Sofa. This must be Harris. Yeah. Stand your ground, Harris. To fuck. It was no competition. Yeah, I think, but like,
he kind of did. He took off like a bat out of head.
Yeah, but should he be standing around the streets arguing with them? Like,
no, but do you know what?
You're the leader of the country.
His fucking security should have sorted it out.
Yeah, should have.
Never mind fucking him.
Yeah, the only problem is it's all about the optics of how it looks on a camera now, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
we need to leave the EU ASAP. Says Evanza. Evanza. Sorry, I can't read. ASAP. Ireland has everything we need to be self-sustainable. Close our borders and support our farmers. Do you know what, Evanza? You could have said that 40 years. Ireland almost became isolationist in the 50s and tried to become like the Soviet Union, and it backfired very badly. Put us 40 years behind. When the UK we had a trade war with the UK in the 50s. Like, historically, being out of Europe would not be good for us.
There's a lot to be said for leaving the EU, and there is a lot of things going against that. I don't think we're big enough. The only way we'd survive is if we tied in again with
the UK.
And
who wants to do that? I'm glad you agree with me.
I will agree with you on that. But yeah, I think the EU there's a lot of things that the EU has put on Ireland unfairly.
100%.
Because as Michelle said in the last podcast, they're treating Ireland like one of the bigger countries, and we're not a big country.
No, don't think the Taoiseach will be back in Mayo soon. The critter, the creator,
the critter. That's Martin Maloney absolutely loves that word critter. Or cretin.
Kathy Gaffney goes, she let the people of Ballinrobe down badly. I'm guessing that's Michelle
Smith.
John Waters, number one.
Did she let down the people of Ballina? I know that I didn't realise this until after the fact, but it was like in politics or in day-to-day living, you have to compromise.
100%.
So people are saying she let Ballinrobe down badly. I presume it's because she backtracked when she got the 50 men coming into Ballinrobe changed to women and kids,
which I think is more palatable.
Which is a lot more
for the town. And
yeah.
would I want 50 lads from Waterford to land in Swinford and never leave? No.
No, I wouldn't want 50 lads from Swinford to come in to
To swim. Yeah, it's hard enough to
jest,
get a
of course.
woman in this town. John Waters number 1. Yeah, if that's what floats your boat, like he's in a.
I don't know an awful lot about John Waters, but I've seen some of his stuff. And
Yeah,
it's a bit far out there.
Yeah,
I'm far out there,
he likes.
He makes me look like a.
He's a fan of the Katie Hopkins type of politics, you know. That
was it him and that was on top of Katie Hopkins in the field that time. Did you not know that?
I've got to Google this. On top.
No. Katie Hopkins nude or a nude picture. Was it Katie?
I don't know if we'll be able to show this live to the people.
It's far away, so you can.
Naked quarantine.
Having sex in a field.
Let's see.
I only seen or read this recently.
Oh, it's just someone talking about Katie Hopkins, or it's Katie Hopkins talking about.
Yeah, Katie Hopkins. If you Google the image, it's definitely there. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, but apparently that's one of the things that made her famous. What was she made famous for?
Katie Hopkins.
Yeah.
She's been in the public eye for years. I can't remember what she originally came into the public eye for. She's a lunatic, like.
Yeah.
She's super.
She is funny
she's super anti-immigration, like.
Yeah, she is. She has some very funny videos.
Like John Waters is in the middle of a defamation suit with
John Waters, thinker, talker, writer.
Yeah, here it is. Irish Times journalist suing John Waters for defamation. I think that was about an article he wrote in the Times. He used to write an article for the Times or whatever.
Okay. But you have to keep things juicy, like.
Yeah.
What? Is he a sitting candidate? No, he's not.
He's just a candidate for the Midlands Northwest.
Will he get in? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. She had
anyway. Go back.
He had a daughter with Sinead O'Connor, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Fair play to him.
Okay. Fair play for that candidate going on the podcast, says James Curley. Could only imagine it was daunting for no Fine Fine Gael people on your podcast. Yeah, no. They don't. They
funny enough,
reaching out to come on here.
Funny enough, they don't reach out to me much.
Yeah.
And I'd be only willing to have them on.
Like I wouldn't be a fan.
I'll get on.
Either.
Listen, I'll get on with absolutely anyone. I don't care if
myself and Martin,
black, white, gay, fucking Rus communist. Doesn't matter. I'll get on with you. If I don't agree with you, I'll tell you.
Myself and Martin met Brian Cowan in Offaly once, and like I could.
He was on the sauce.
He sure was. But like I could understand after meeting why people like he's very charismatic. Like I would have never thought of that from years of watching him in the public eye. But like when you meet him, he's very personable, and he was full of chat, and he was
in bad health there a couple of years ago.
I think so. Yeah, it was a cancer. Was it? I think it was. Kathy Gaffney says, over Sally Maz, that must have been the Patrick O'Connor stuff.
Yes, it was. You're right, Kathy.
Died unnecessarily. Sophie Young, our lives everywhere are being trashed in so many ways. The political process is deadening.
100%. Sophie does be commenting on a lot of my videos. We have our disagreements and we have our agreements, but one thing we can agree on is we're up for the crack.
Liam Murphy says that they're basically Ireland's answer to the Westboro Baptist Church. You're on the same line as myself.
You're on the ball there, Liam.
Give me a good one. Give me one good reason, Kathy. I'm guessing that's over John Waters being number one. Maybe is that Lovely Cans? Lovely Cans.
Is that Deck? Is it? No,
maybe.
No, it's not. Maybe it is. Where else are we there?
You'd never see Macron run away with an ice cream.
You certainly wouldn't. Because I tell you why. Because the security there wouldn't be an issue in the first place.
Yeah,
he wouldn't be walking down a rural town with absolutely no security around him.
Yeah, Macron would be expecting a protest everywhere he goes though.
Yeah.
The French are like that.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, in fairness, Macron, like, say what you want about him, but
Stand up to them though, they retreat fairly quick.
Like, we were talking about being in school there yesterday, myself and yourself and Pete. We were talking about being in school. You know, Macron married his teacher.
No way.
Yeah, she was like 20 years older than him.
What was his name?
Yeah, but he's like he
Still married?
He married her at like 21 or something. He's still married to her. I think.
French are funny like that.
Yeah.
Oh, into
She was doing
avant-garde fucking.
and then vote him. So basically, he was like a 20-year-old shagging his 40-something-year-old teacher who was married at the time, or like he was like grew up as a teenager,
right,
with her sons and daughters.
And I bet being French and being in her 40s, I bet she had a big hairy fanny.
Oh, don't you know? Well, back in the 90s and everything, or the 80s.
I digress. Let's get back on trend here.
He won't purge his contempt and will stay put. Yeah, so that's
Enoch Burke. Yeah.
James.
And some people will say that's lunacy. Other people will say you have to admire his steadfastness if he's doing it for the right reasons. So
Avanza Ferris goes, no Sinn Féin either, no Labour, no Greens, and no Democrats. So that's no Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and nothing on the left either. So you're either looking for something that's extremely right wing or extremely left wing, because you've taken out nearly everything that's in the middle.
No Sinn Féin either. No Sinn Féin, no Labour, no Greens, and no Democrats, please.
Well, we can't vote for the Democrats in Ireland because there are no Democrats. Or you mean the Social Democrats, maybe?
Oh, maybe. The thing is, every government needs an opposition.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get a right mix this time. The fact that there's 3 different parties.
Well, like the other side of it is that the Greens are
rainbow government.
Well, the Greens
actually,
Ireland has always had it. Like, look, with parties that have had to horse trade on that are not similar to them. Like Fine Gael were always centre right, same as Fianna Fáil, and then they'd partner with the Greens or Labour, which are left leaning. So they have conflicting policy ideas. So they actually get fuck all.
Did we have a 3-party coalition before?
I think we did with the Progressive Democrats.
I think we did.
Fianna Fáil and
Labour.
Yeah.
That was called a rainbow government.
Yeah. In 2007.
And that was shite. It never works. It's a bit like the time Mayo had 3 managers.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
There's too many. There is too many people that can pan off the problems to, or the excuses, or the blame game.
Yeah.
Then you end up fucking. That was the time that Mayo were training pushing cars up hills. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Pushing fucking cars in car parks.
That was just before John Mahon came in. Was it?
That is right. Yeah, that was our lowest ever. John Mahon came in.
I remember Robert Finnity's old fella. What's his name? Larry. Yeah, he was.
His name isn't Larry, but his nickname was Larry.
What's his name?
Finnerty. Anthony Finnerty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now he'd be the same shape as I am now when he was playing for Mayo.
Yeah.
He's not. He wouldn't be a slick, senior player like nowadays.
He had a couple of tasty goals though.
He was good crack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I said this is the whole point of this platform. We discuss having different views and different. So I'm not pushing anyone's opinion except my own. Like, I've got my own thoughts on the way that things should work, and if you support independent candidates that you think are like-minded to yourself and you don't believe in party politics, so you don't like Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin, Labour, more power to you. You might be right.
Do you know what? I'd love to get Avanza. She's on about coming down for a podcast, and I will get Avanza on. She has some very, very interesting ideas and topics that I'd love to chat among the 3 of us. I know that she'd clash with you no end, and I'd be looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I'd be respectful.
I know you would, exactly. And do you not think I'm respectful?
No, you're a prick. Louis Theroux should do a documentary on them. I think that's giving them too much credit. To be honest.
I'd love to see it though.
I would love
I'd
to
love to
see
see Louis Theroux in Castlebar down Loch Lana at the riding tree.
Liam Murphy goes, those Protestants up to no good as usual.
They're not Protestants, are they?
I think they might be some sort of Presbyterian or something like that.
Okay.
Scientologist, I don't know, out that direction.
Bit of everything.
Enoch is getting his full pay in jail. Shouldn't be kept showing up to the school, distressing the kids though too.
That is true. That's why I said he went a little too far. He lost the high moral ground. And when there's kids involved, I mean, you try and keep it as calm as possible. Can I just get back to the riding tree in Castlebar down Loch Lana?
You have to go, do you?
Since I brought it up, there's rumours that there's a tree in Castlebar
that you've been seeing around.
That it's, like some trees, the branch comes out like that and it gets big and thick and then it goes up. Do you know what I mean?
You've never been big and thick, I suppose.
Big and thick, and then the branch goes up. Well, this one is very low to the ground and it's at a perfect height for doing a bit of saddling. And apparently it's a great place
but you'll have to go on his OnlyFans to check that out.
For the gay community to go down and over the years.
What, women couldn't do that?
Oh, I'm sure women are down there as well. But I just wanted to clear that up, seeing as I mentioned it.
Just that you won't be seen again down there this week.
I have my name etched in it. Stephen Kelly was here again.
It's been there. It's described him 40 times.
With John.
I like the way you only think it's for men. Fair play. There's only men that you saw down there, is it?
It's only men that it was caught down there.
Yeah, fair enough. Magella Walsh says, very well said, Chris. I don't know why I said.
I don't know what you said. Don't stop agreeing with Magella.
I appreciate it.
Stop agreeing with him.
She's right. David Cuddy goes.
Jack's mother.
She's right.
Yeah.
David Cuddy goes, do you believe in Ballinrobe, lads? I don't believe in the concept of Ballinrobe. I will.
Do you believe in Ballinrobe?
I don't believe in
it. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
As a concept, I think it's flawed.
Yeah. It's like Narnia.
Yeah. Only you walk in there and 50 lads walk out. Avanza, oh shit, I don't know. Because Enoch stood for our rights. Because when does your rights supersede my rights and religious rights? He's made a good point for the greater good. I agree with you in one way, Avanza, but I do think that he overstepped the mark when he kept going back. If the kids were distressed, but like on the other side, I'm so torn with Enoch Burke. Not that he gives a shit, but I kind of have to admire that he's so steadfast as well, and he's willing to stay in jail. I'm sure it's not easy for him in there. Then again, he might enjoy the maybe he just wants to get away from the fucking family. If I was him, I'd be like, fucking lock me up to fuck. Throw away the key there. James Cordy, personal views should not come into your professional job or role. If you're dealing with the public, he was right to question the school policy on the pronoun and gender. Only two females and males.
100%. I completely agree with you there, James.
But again, as the first part of your personal views shouldn't come into your professional job if you're dealing with.
It's kind of hard though when they're that sensitive. Like, I don't know if I would be able to do that.
But that you have every right not to work there.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
there is an opt-out clause with the EU regarding taking in so many refugees, which can be activated. I do think that's another thing that I will agree with you.
EMAXC. Yeah, like
I agree with you there. I think we've done enough. We've taken in.
Well, we're compounding problems within the health service and housing.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
and it falls back on every other service in the entire.
And the
country.
other thing,
we don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the facilities.
We're not even.
It's as simple as that.
Even if you think that we should be taking in the level of refugees, we're not even looking after the refugees that we're taking in, because
Yeah,
they're all
exactly.
a load of them are sleeping on the canal in tents.
it's
That's
ridiculous.
not fucking good enough.
No, it's not good enough for them, and it's not good enough for the people of Dublin
Definitely not.
and the country.
Go down to David Cuddy. I'm trying to find my way in media business, raising kids and life. Sure, doing a great job in fairness, mate. I'm really worried about how many different opinions people have on free speech. Free speech is free speech. 100%.
David.
And that's the other side, is that it was weird watching Michelle getting accosted by people that don't agree and saying to us, why do you have her on? It was like, well, we're not here to please people that way.
That was one of the things. One of the messages came in, and I'm so disappointed in you, Stephen. And it just hit me at the wrong time as well. I was like, do you know what? I don't run this page for you.
Yeah.
This platform is for absolutely everyone, anyone. If you don't agree with it, that's
fine too.
That's okay. If we were all making, if I was making content and getting people on and saying things that everyone agreed with, I'd be wasting my fucking time.
100%. And I know David does his own thing and does it his own way, and he's doing a brilliant job, and I really enjoy his content, if anything, you know. But like this idea that the idea of free speech is that you should be willing to listen to people that you don't agree with. Sometimes it's good and healthy,
and thrash it out.
But like what I think
and sometimes it'll make your opinion more steadfast. Other times you might be like
soften on your opinion.
It's great to be open-minded.
Like the other side of it is that I think the way that social media operates as a whole has changed the way people have an outlook on life. Because so say you watch a video on YouTube, the next video is going to be connected to that, and it'll reinforce your opinion. Yes. So like, we're seeing more echo chamber thinking.
My father is a case in point in that.
Yeah,
he's out there and he's watching these conspiracy theories, and yes, does some of them make a lot of sense, or there's an argument to be had for them, and others are then just
discussion to be had
to be had on them. But because he's watching them all the time, he keeps getting fed these more ridiculous theories and about Trump and about Biden and about Russia,
and he's consuming it
all the time. He's consuming it, and if you'd only stop and think that some of this is so contradictory as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you keep watching the same thread, you're going to keep getting fed the same thread, and of course your opinion is just going to harden more and more. There has to be a little bit of critical thinking in society, in your life. So don't question everything, even if you believe in it,
and even if it's your
believe
original
in it, question
thought.
it. Yeah, even if it's your original thought, question it and question it again.
Larry goes, lads, with the hairy fannies again, it's always on our minds.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to bring it up every single time I can.
Yeah.
I wish someday that I reach maturity where I don't find hairy fannies funny.
Never happened. Never happened. Like even when you see one now, you'll be like, this is brilliant.
I could give away some brilliant jokes here, but I'll keep them for the live shows.
Lads may inquire on as to who'll suggest voting for. I'm on in South Dublin. Some interest in talk for me. Like I can't.
Keith Pendred.
Keith.
What's the crack, Keith? Haven't seen you in ages.
I was chatting to him there last week.
Anything to be said for a pint, and we get to the bottom of all this.
Very
Keith,
much so.
I would love to have a pint with you, and we'll chat all night long. Lionel Messi job. Where was the message that you were reading?
Yeah, I was just right. Lard, I wish I could look into all the local candidates for you and say,
Dublin.
But like, who to vote for?
Is that like, in the
I don't
European
even know who
or
I
locals?
want to vote for.
I would definitely vote for Niall Boylan.
Yeah,
I listen to him. I like him. I like what he says, and I think he's heart and compassion. So if Niall Boylan is in South Dublin, I would definitely give him a vote. He's going for the European elections.
Yeah. Pay and display tree, says Lar.
What was that about?
Your favourite tree in Mayo.
Fair play, Lars.
I also hope Keith is enjoying it. He's on a big shoot at the moment.
Where?
So he might be out foreign.
Very
so he's hanging out with us.
We won't keep it much longer here.
David Cuddy says, "When can I do a pod with you ball bags?" Anytime. Fucking
anytime. You can either come down here and do it here, or we can go up to you and do it up at you. I'd love to go up to your studio. It looks class.
Yeah, Collie was on his podcast there recently, wasn't he?
Well, then again, I was too. I was going to say,
you've been there. Collie's there,
I was on it. It's still to this day one of my favourite podcasts that I was on. That, of course, with the one with Alan Clark, because I know he'll be listening to that.
Sophie.
Let's set it up, David.
I've heard that the numbers of people coming over is currently in decline. The issue is a political football diverting attention away from housing, stuff like housing, health, and education. But that's
part of it.
Yeah,
it is part of it. It's not diverting it from that. It's adding to it. That's the problem.
The other side of it is that ever since I was a young lad, I can't remember an election where there hasn't been a crisis, a government crisis, and things haven't changed since I was a young lad. So it's like the healthcare is in disarray. People are always in some sort of. It's always in crisis mode, this country. So maybe that's something that we have to look at. Are we actually making any change at all by having the same two parties in all the time?
No. Well, that's like Einstein said, the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But also, Sophie, if it is in decline, it's because they've probably reduced the benefits. And they're still the most,
I don't know. I think
still the most lucrative and generous benefits in the entire EU.
Well, they also get an extra tent at the moment. So
Yeah. Well, again, there's just too many.
So they go to
flooded.
They also get an electric picnic ticket.
No way.
Yeah,
they're doing their shite. So bad it's good. Says Niall Boylan comes across as obnoxious sometimes. Also, doubt he would be effective as an MEP. I'll beg to differ there. So bad it's good. I do think, but again, if we keep voting for the same people and then complaining about it, well, then what's the fucking point? Like,
yeah,
if the same people get in and we start complaining about the same things again, well, then I'll never make another anti-government video because it'll be our own fault.
Oh, I meant to ask you just something that Sophie, and no problem anytime, David, jump on here anytime, pop up to us. And go for an old spin to Mayo, so you should. Sophie goes, one of my friends went on a conspiracy website thing and he told me they were given codes to break. Number crunching when getting support for Trump and conspiracy theories. His mind went. So sad.
Oh yeah.
That is very sad. And look, I said conspiracy theories and out of the box thinking. Look,
yeah,
of
course, I would question absolutely everything.
The problem,
but I'd logically think then about everything as well.
Well, the other side of it is that some conspiracy theories are naturally going to be true. Then what happens is, well, that opens the door to everything possibly being true. So what I see a lot with. And I've got friends that have gone really deep into conspiracy theories.
Mark Maloney, not mentioning any names.
But what happens is they daisy chain conspiracy theories together. So one that might be true leads to, oh, well, that's likely now. And that's likely now. And, so on and so forth. Trump was convicted during the week.
He was.
We haven't discussed that. Do you think that's going to make any difference at all?
Not really. I think it won't change an absolute.
What if he gets jail time?
He won't get jail time in years.
Might.
More likely, Stephen Hawkins fucking gets trials for Inter Milan as fucking Martin Maloney said.
Well, he's dead.
I know, that's exactly.
But if he got trials, that would be amazing. I heard he was a great right winger.
Won't make any difference at all. Sure, I mean, we all knew he was guilty of all that. But that's America for you. If the more money you have in America, you'll get away with all sorts of shit. And the thing is, he still could become the next, or re-elected as the 45th?
47th?
Is it?
Is Biden the 46th president? I think Trump was 45th.
Was he 45th? Well, then the 47th president. So yeah, it's not going to
But
make
would he be?
an
Would he
iota
be
of
the
difference.
45th again?
But
It'd be weird.
The thing about it is as well.
Is?
Yeah. He's just as good as Biden, if not better. As bad as he is.
Yeah.
That's
Either
the
way.
sad thing. And I've said this 1,000 times. In the entirety of America, with how many million people there are, and these are the two claims that they're putting for presidency.
One thing for sure, I was never a fan of Biden anyway. I even when they were lording up, the president of Ireland coming to Mayo, or the president of America coming to Mayo and ancestral home, it's all a nice touch, but it's all a bit bullshitty for me. I didn't, but one thing's for sure, that he is a really old man. Yeah. He's out to pasture.
It's ridiculous. He doesn't, he can barely speak.
Yeah.
He can barely walk. He definitely can't read the prompter because he goes way off fucking nuts. He makes himself out to be. And what they're doing to him is cruel. And
it's actually the proof that he's not really the power behind it.
Not
He's actually proven the point.
Yeah.
That there's shadowy figures and corporations like these defense contractor corporations, Raytheon and Halliburton and all these defense contractors that are making big bank out of Israel and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They're making billions and thousands of billions.
That's all Israel is about as well. But anyway, we're going to get away from the foreign stuff. We'll keep it local tonight. We'll talk about Trump and Biden some other time.
Sure.
And so how do we drift off there? Where were we?
James Curley goes, lads, ye two versus David Cuddy and Morris in front of a live audience.
That would be outrageous crack. The only problem with that is me and Morris would team up. We would tag team Chris, and David Cuddy would be in the corner absolutely making fun of the lot of us. And he wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I'd be okay for that as well.
Yeah,
I can handle it.
But it would be serious crack. That is some combination.
Yeah.
So where are we there? All of them are gold. What do you mean? All of them are gold.
All of them are old.
Old, yes.
Yeah. Old as fuck.
Avanza goes, constant crisis has been part of human history for hundreds of years. We can't just lie down either. That is true.
True.
If we did, we'd still have the English here. Ireland is worth fighting for. I love Avanza's heart and patriotism. Even though Avanza was born in South Africa, but she I know how much she, and that's what I want our politicians to have. That sort of passion for the country. James Curley laughing at probably what I responded to him about. That's
about you and Morris teaming up.
Yes, tag teaming you. Right.
That's a big
do you know what? I was going to talk about Conor McGregor and the UFC thing that he cancelled, and the fact that he's using all my phrases. He was quoted. Did you see that?
Did you see him on the Guinness Community Group?
Yeah, right.
The shameless plug after shameless plug.
Yeah, but he's using my fucking phrases, and I am going to fucking contact him. He said, "Forged out. It's like rocket fuel for your Mickey." I've used that in 2 videos in the past, and I use it if people ask me to do birthday videos. It's definitely a line that I use in a lot of my videos. Get it into you. It's like rocket fuel for your Mickey, and he's fucking using it, and he's plugging Forged out with it. So I'll be having words with you, Connor. So I will.
He might draft you into training and see.
Maybe I could do a training. I could do a training. I noticed in that video that I done with getting better with Chris. The Lord may save us. I've put on some timber. I knew I had, but that was a real wake up call.
How was that run?
Oh, it was great.
He seems like a
lovely guy.
Most people named Chris are Samskins.
Yeah. Yeah, no, listen, you're really nice guy.
Stay green, pony boy. I can handle handle you two fuckers. He knows well I can.
Yeah, I know he does. What is the crack?
I hope you keep
Matt,
well.
Are you well? You've joined us at the end. We're on at least an hour, are we?
I'll tell you exactly. And 1 hour, 14 minutes and 41 seconds.
14.
14 minutes, yeah.
40.
14.
14. That'll do. Listen, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, for interacting with us. It was a pleasure as always. The later we come on, we seem to get a lot of more people getting involved. So thank you so much for tuning in and listening. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And for anyone that's watching this after it's recorded, as in
please subscribe.
Please subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Leave a like. Let us know what you'd like on the podcast.
And I'll put
and check out the merch as well. Check out the merch. What you call it? What would you call it? Shop?
Our merch shop. Merch shop.
Merch shop. Yeah.
Just you'll see at the bottom there. Just put in the chat, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, guys. Till the next time. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
And stay away from yourself.
Good luck.